Hello everybody. Welcome to another one of my road videos. This video will be entitled From Stanfield to Jellico. We're sitting in the parking lot of the Stanfield United Baptist Church. Some of our family came over to go to the Stanfield Cemetery. My wife has several family members buried in this cemetery. Her grandmother, two sisters, aunts and uncles. Her father was from Pioneer, which is up the road from this location. And I thought it would be a good day to record some videos, some road videos. And I've broken it up into different segments. The one previous to this was entitled From Jacksboro to Stanfield, and this is entitled From Stanfield to Jellico. The final video in this series will be entitled From Jellico to La Follette. Excuse me. And in that video, From Jellico to La Follette, I have a video entitled La Follette to Jellico, or Jellico Road, but I was going in the opposite direction. So in the final video of this series, it will be From Jellico to La Follette. And that'll be on Highway 25W, the old highway that they used to call Dixie Highway. This video is from Stanfield to Jellico, and I recorded this on June 15th, 2019. And I'm doing the audio voiceover on the 18th of June. It's a Tuesday. I've been trying to do one of these each day. That is the audio portion of what I did on the 15th. This valley, Elk Valley, there's different communities down through this valley, but I call the whole place Elk Valley. As soon as I exit and come through Pioneer, I may be mistakenly referring to all of this as Elk Valley, but when you're talking to someone and they ask you, well, where was that at? And I say, it's Elk Valley, regardless of what part of the valley you were in. I don't know if other people do the same thing. If you have any comments on that, let me know. I had one comment the other day on a video that I was doing in La Follette, and they were kind enough to correct. I was kind of mistaken on the location of Prospect Street and La Follette, and they gave me some feedback, even gave me the time frame link of the video to correct me on where my streets intersected, and I really appreciate that. When I do these videos, a lot of times I'll go to Google Maps and map it out. But when you're out like this on the main highway, the GoPro high definition video is so clear that you can read the road signs as well as I can. In fact, as I do this playback, I'm reiterating probably what I have said before. But in case this is the first video that you've watched of mine, when I do the audio, I always do the audio overdub later on back in my computer room. But with the GoPro camera set on super wide, let me mention there, that road, I think, if you go down there, it'll go down to the railroad, and that's really Elk Valley, I think. But anyway, back to what I was saying. With the high definition video, you can see the road signs as well as I can. And when you're on these roads, now not on the back roads, but on these roads, you'll usually find a sign to tell you the number of the road. So I'm not going to dwell a lot on specific roads. Mainly what I want to do is just offer a visual. And a lot of times when I go out and do these videos, I'm so involved in just doing the audio or the video that I really don't think about the audio until I get back and it comes time to placing an audio track on these videos. And as I've said before, back in the early days, when I would do these road videos, I would take and place music as the audio track, which doesn't work. You never know if you're going to pick a piece of music that someone will like. And I basically learned that lesson by listening or watching road videos from other places. You would find a road video that just had all kinds of scenery, and you would have to cut the sound down because the music was just driving you up a wall. Of course, by the same token, my commentary may be doing the same thing. But the beauty of a visual is you can turn the sound down if you don't want to listen to me, and it won't hurt my feelings, I tell you. Because I just want to give enough color rather than to let the video just become sterile with visuals alone. But now some people, that's all they want is the visuals. So anyway, I guess I'm making excuses. But when you do these long videos and you have these long, rambling, jabbering sessions like I'm doing right now, you want to let everybody know what you're really doing and how you feel about what you're doing. You wind up reiterating something that you've already covered or something that you've already said. But the reason I do that, someone may watch this video and never watch anything else that I have because they're interested in the road from Stanfield to Jellico. That's why I usually talk about the equipment that I'm using, some of the feelings that I have about the videos that I do, because this is basically a hobby for me. When you've been on YouTube as long as I have, for a long time I had revenue sharing so I could monetize these videos. And then here a while back, YouTube decided that the only way that you could monetize a video is you had to have, in the last 365 days, you had to have at least 4,000 hours of watch time in the 365 days, plus 1,000 subscribers. Well, that did not include me, so they took away my ability to monetize my videos. But now I'm getting close to being reinstated because I have 900, the last I checked, I had like 933 subscribers, but I have over 6,500 hours of watch time in the last 365 days, and all I need is 4,000, and I've got over 6,500 hours. So if you happen to have a YouTube account, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that little bell, and also a thumbs up if you like this video. But if you subscribe and you click that little bell, what that will do, each time that I upload a video, you'll get an alert that I have uploaded a new video to YouTube. So I would appreciate it if you haven't subscribed, if you go ahead and subscribe. This video is entitled From Stanfield to Jellico. I haven't been on this road that much. We go through a community down here called Newcomb. And my family on my dad's side, well, on my mother's side and my dad's side, and also my wife, all of our people came from this area. My grandmother lived up on a place called Black Oak in Jellico. When I pass some of these cemeteries, I can see the last name of our family on a lot of the graves, and I have a lot of relatives buried there. And some of my relatives lived to be up in their 90s. Same way with my wife. Her grandmother, I think, was almost 100. And you go in some of these graveyards, I don't consider speaking of graveyards a morbid subject, because you can find so much about your ancestors by checking grave markers. The thing that amazes me, this day and time when people talk about all the advances in medicine, and then a case in point is down in La Follette at the Delap Cemetery. That's the Civil War cemetery. There's one portion of that is older civilian graves, even before the Civil War began. And you'll find graves over there with markers where people lived 70, 80, 90 years back in the 1800s, which is incredible to me when you know that so many different diseases were prevalent that now we have discovered vaccines for. So people were living long lives in those days, and it really dawns on you when you check some of the gravestones in some of these older cemeteries. As we continue down Elk Valley on our way to Jellico, and off in the distance as I'm listening to this, or correction, as I'm placing this audio portion on this video, I hear thunder off in the background, so hopefully we will not have a flash flood like they had in the La Follette area a week or so ago. And I was in North Carolina when all that happened. If I'd been in the area, I would have taken my camera out. I have a weatherproof cover for my GoPro, but I would have tried to capture as much of that as the authorities would have allowed. But I was like a lot of other people. Pat and I, she has an iPhone, and I didn't have cell service where we were at up in the mountains, but she did. And she kept me abreast of all the happenings in La Follette. That night, up in the mountains, we had some heavy rain, and I was thinking that a lot of that weather was probably moving in our direction. And where we stayed at my sister's cabin up in the mountains, there's a branch that runs in front of their cabin, although it's built up a little higher. My brother-in-law had told me one time that he saw that little branch. It was 40 feet wide coming down through there. So when a flash flood occurs, there's not a lot you can do. Excuse me, getting choked up this morning. I'm just going to keep it real. I've got a Dr. Pepper here. I'm going to drink some. We're coming into Newcomb. We take a right down here and go across the Norfolk Southern Railroad. But as I was saying before, on both sides of the family, my wife and I, our roots date back to Jellico and Pioneer, Elk Valley, Newcomb, Oswego, Sandy Flats. My grandmother and grandfather Payne used to live at a place called Sandy Flats. I need to go over there and do a video. But if you offered me a sack of money right now to tell you where Sandy Flats was, no way could I tell you. If you happen to be watching this video and you know where Sandy Flats is located over around Jellico, give me a comment. I'm going to go over there and do a road video. I'm not one that really follows locations. When I set out to do one of these videos, the main thing that I have on my mind is just doing visuals. Back before the high definition video came along, you really, when you would go down a road like this with a camera, you couldn't read. It stopped there for some reason or another. I don't know if it froze or what. I'm going to see what happens. I think I just don't know. I'm watching my computer screen and it just stopped. The progress meter is running, so I'm going to take for granted that the video portion stopped, but it's still recording the video. So I'm going to continue rather than go back and it's not counting the frames, but it's counting the time on the left-hand side. I'm using a program called Vegas Pro, and this editing software was developed by Sony, and here a few years ago they sold it to a company in Britain, and I've had 2 upgrades since they took it over. And I'm seriously thinking about getting another program because I believe there's some bugs in this editing program. But I'll really know once this video ends. But I have no monitor, so I don't know where we're at. So if it ends right in the mid-sentence of something I'm saying, it's because I don't know where we're at. I know we're coming into Jellico, and this video is entitled From Stanfield to Jellico. I believe it's 20-some minutes in length. Right now we're showing like 20 minutes and 7 seconds. But there's nothing other than the time counter is operative right now. I have no visual. Everything completely stopped. And rather than to do it over, I'm going to see if it works. So this video is getting ready to end. My next video will be from Jellico to La Follette. And it looks like it rolled over into another clip. You probably heard that thunder in the background. I'm using a Blue Yeti microphone. It's a USB microphone, and it's about the most popular microphone for vloggers and people who are doing what I'm doing voiceover on videos. I've had this microphone for about 2 weeks. Excuse me. I have a Sennheiser 421, but some of the wires came loose on that one, and I took it to a company over in Knoxville, and they have a guy that comes in and works on microphones. Hopefully he'll fix it. As we continue down toward Jellico, and I have no monitor, but that's because of the software that I'm using. When Sony developed this software, I have an old copy that I'm not sure I'm choked up. It's early in the morning, but that's the thing about YouTube videos. They're not slick. It's just, the way it happened. It's early in the morning, and I decided to go ahead and put the audio on this video from Stanfield to Jellico. And this video is getting ready to end in the middle of Jellico. And the next video I do, I'll pick up in the middle of Jellico, and we'll call that From Jellico to La Follette. Thank you all very much for listening to my video and putting up with my jabbering.